We knew it would be like this, folks. This is what they've been doing for the last 4 years. And it's because they didn't like what happened in 2016. It didn't make them happy. Let's just put it that way. So now what we have is Facebook is no longer, they removed ads from Epic Times after a huge, obviously they put out something about the president and they weren't very happy about it. Now they're claiming it had to do with this right here. This basically, this is what they're claiming, but you know, we all know that's not the case. That this is just their way of being fair, you know, because everything on the other side's bad because it's not their opinion, right? So that's kind of how it works now. But of course, one of these companies got a little smart, and we're going to cover a lot of stuff here, folks. We're going to cover a lot of stuff. I'm going to go over several stories of things that are coming out right now. And some of this is really interesting. And actually, one of them is really good news, all right? So, but this one's actually kind of good news, sort of. Google puts a curb on debate by employees. And this is because they are obviously being scrutinized right now because they're under a probe. Okay, Facebook as well. But of course, Facebook isn't as smart as Google. They're just like, they don't care anymore. And I thought at first that they were a little smarter than Google because they seemed to be at first trying to do the right thing. At first, like about, I think like a year and a half ago, they were trying to do the right thing. And then they're like, oh, forget that. Let's just go full head in. We don't care if anybody notices that we're completely unfair and just doing stuff wrong. So that's kind of what's going on with that. Now, I wanted to play a clip from Jon Voight really quick. You know, he is a guy that was in that movie with Tom Cruise. Oh, what is it called? I can't think of it offhand for some reason. Mission Impossible. He was the one who was in Mission. I think he was in Mission Impossible 1 and maybe 2. Let me just play this really quick.
Okay. This is not peace. This is not love. This is hate. No amount of book smart will show the given policy of what truth stands for. Truth.
And he's referring to the fact that these guys on the left, they don't really love you. They don't really care. But they claim that they're being fair and they love you and all this stuff. And it's the exact opposite, which is, you'd have to ask, why isn't there any introspection here? What? Don't you realize that you're literally doing the opposite of what you're saying? You know what I mean? So that's kind of what he's trying to get at there. And apparently, a lot of people in Hollywood were very unhappy with what he had to say, which is not really a surprise, as you can imagine. But now on to some of the good news. I did mention this in one video yesterday, that there is going to be an app coming out. This is actually something I think is about the only one out there that could potentially rival YouTube and Facebook, potentially, because this is a big company that has money, all right? And they're actually sort of fair sometimes. You know, they put out a certain type of news. You might know what I'm talking about here. These guys, they put out these guys, which is not exactly fair, but they're a little bit better, right? They're not exactly some of the other ones. But at any rate, they're putting out an app, all right? And it's going to be available, I think the website's going to be called news.com. And it's going to be available, I think, in the near future. It was saying that they're working on it. Let's see. The service currently called news.com is expected to be a website and mobile app. Early version is being shown to a small group of executives. An official launch could come later this year. That's what I thought it was. I was trying to remember exactly. But this app is about the only one that could potentially rival YouTube, if you think about it, because they have the money. Now, that doesn't mean that they're going to be able to take them on, per se. I hope so. You know, it could be the next Bing. You know, Bing.com didn't really go anywhere, and it was backed by Microsoft, which is a big company. You would have thought maybe they would have been able to take on Google, but they weren't. But there's always a potential, especially if it's a big company and has some money, because these little guys, what ends up happening is it's that fairness. You know, they're being fair. They just, you know, take away their money processing. They take away this. They say false things about them. They're just being fair, you know, that's all it is. But, you know, I actually watched this really interesting video about how YouTube works. And it's amazing. They've changed it quite a bit. And that it might explain what's going on with what you're seeing with YouTube of recent is they have multiple algorithms now. And what they do, multiple artificial intelligence, which basically looks at different aspects of your video and what's going on with the platform. And we're talking about ridiculous stuff. Like they'll take my video here and they'll take frames of my video and they'll analyze the photos in the frames and figure out what's going on in the frame. Like this is a couch, this is a bookshelf, this is a man. It will do that. And if you have a picture of a person, or if you have a certain type of thing shown that they don't like, what ends up happening is they put more emphasis on these frames where they get these words and put them on the frame and your thumbnail than they'd put on anything else. It doesn't matter what your title and description says anymore. You could put nothing in there probably and it would still be okay. Literally, they look at your closed caption, but that's second to this. They look at the frames and they put words on your frames. Because they don't trust you, apparently. They don't trust you to label your video rights. They don't trust you. They don't like you. So they're looking at your frames and they're like, oh, that's one of those things. We don't like that. So we're not going to show your video to anybody. See that's how it works now. So I saw that on Rl's channel. He's like a guy that covers all this. He owns a bunch of big channels and he analyzes. And actually, I installed the software on my computer and figured out how to do it myself. Because I'm trying to, sort of figure out what's going on with my channel, right? Because my channel's having a lot of fun lately. Also, I wanted to cover this too. Has to do with the trade going on between China and America. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on with this now. Apparently, the president is not calling this guy anymore his friend. He's calling him something else now. He's calling him this. He doesn't like him anymore. Apparently, every time the president does something, this guy does something back. When it comes to trade, putting tariffs and all this kind of stuff, this guy don't like it. So he does it right back to us. And the whole reason why is, China literally took a lot of our jobs. I mentioned about a small city in my state, Indiana. We drove through it. I think it was Marion. And it was so run down, and I could tell it used to be a factory town, and now there's like everything's run down. The houses look like they're completely falling apart. Their cars are falling apart. I was just like, man, this is just really no good. And it's because of this, everything was made over in China. Now, this is kind of what happened. So it's really kind of, disconcerting, disappointing that this happened. But he's trying to change that, which I think is good. And, of course, as a result, the stock market's going like this as a result of all this. But I think this is actually a good thing because of what China wants to do and what they've been doing, especially to their, what they've been doing with their own people. It's pretty ridiculous. I don't want them to have more power. They're clearly not with good interests. So, and they definitely are not the type of people you want running the world. Let's just put it that way. So I think it's a good idea to do that, even though it's some, growing pains for us, I guess. It's a good thing in the end. But, there's so many things going on now. It seems like every day the information's coming faster and faster and faster, and just so many stories coming out. It's probably good I'm doing 3 or 4 videos a day. I'm going to be doing it this way for a while until I get my channel. It might be, and actually I'll probably I might stick with this pattern, because before I was doing like one video a week because YouTube would actually like me back then. It would actually show my videos to people. And it's a drastic change this month. It's drastic, okay? Back in February, I put up a video, I would get 1 million views easy. I even got 3 million views on one video, okay? Because I knew how to work with it and make it work. I knew how to I had everything running really smoothly. But now, for some reason, because they've been analyzing my videos, or I think mainly it's because I updated 60 videos. I updated 60 videos that were old, and I was saying all the wrong stuff in those videos. I just looked at it at the closed caption. I'm like, dude, I was saying all the stuff they don't like. Okay, I updated 60 of my videos that were back like old like that, and I think that's what did it to my channel. So what I did is I deleted those videos. And what I'm thinking will happen is beginning of September, it will start fixing again, because it seems like every month at the beginning of the month is when it like does some check on your channel and decides whether or not they want to promote your videos. So I noticed every month, like it would change. Like all of a sudden a video would just go, or go, like this at the beginning of the month. So I knew it was something at the beginning of the month. They have something they run and it's like, oh, we like the channel again. Let's promote it again, you know? And I fell into like the lowest hole, like maybe the lowest circle of hell or something. I don't know what happened, but it's something like that. I was saying some pretty, you know, out there stuff back on some of those videos, and I kept saying words you're not supposed to say that are just like you just don't want to say. I don't know how to explain it. I was just literally saying everything you're not supposed to say. Word wise, I wasn't saying bad ideas. I was just saying a lot of stuff you're just not supposed to say. Okay, I don't want to say the words because then this video will be, you know, trust me. Okay, like sometimes 200 words in one video. No joke. So at any rate, I deleted all those videos. I think that'll fix it. I also did some other updates. I've tried to clean house as much as I can on my channel, so that I literally deleted half my videos. So I really think this will fix it. I really hope that's the case. At any rate, let me know what you think in the comment section below, and thanks for watching.